What happens when you find your dream home before you've sold your current one? Most homeowners think they're stuck at that point. No options and no way out. But what if there were options you didn't know existed? Today, we're sharing two real client stories that may change how you think about making your next move. Stay tuned. Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome to the Mojo Show, your real estate podcast where we talk about everything real estate. I'm your host, Joe Mortgage.
And I'm Cup of Joe Mortgage.
This week's episode, we're going through two actual client scenarios. It's a situation more homeowners we are finding are facing today. And many of them assume that they're stuck with no good options. But before we get to that, a little coffee talk with the Joes this morning. Joe, last weekend was Father's Day weekend. I hope yours was a good one.
I had a fantastic weekend.
Good. Did a little history facts here for you about Father's Day. Did you know Mother's Day became a national holiday? I think it was in like 1914 or something. Take a guess of when Father's Day became an actual national holiday that the president, whatever they do to pass a bill or whatever to make it a national holiday. Guess when that happened?
You always put me on the spot with these facts because I stink at them.
No,
so
you put me on the spot always.
I'm going to go with 1943. I don't know why that one popped into my head, but I'm going to say 1943 because we like to celebrate the mothers more than we like to celebrate the fathers.
True.
So, and they need to be celebrated more than fathers.
Rightly so. Absolutely.
But last weekend was my weekend, and that was better for me. So
it was actually in 1972.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's only been like maybe 50 years.
That's ridiculous. No, I would not have thought that far out, but I guess I get it. You think back through history and all the times the mothers staying home and all the other things, they weren't celebrated in the workforce as much. So I could see where, making a Mother's Day holiday, better. I could see that. I'm glad it changed in today's industry because it's ridiculous that what they went through. But mothers, and I'm a mama's boy. If she is listening, Mom, hi. I am a mama's boy, and I will admit to that. But I would love to celebrate mothers a lot more because they put up with a lot, and they have to put up with the older child, which is us as husbands. So
I imagine Mom. I know my mom put up with a lot with me and my brother, most definitely. So
what's Joe? I got a question for you. We're talking about Father's Day.
Yes.
What's one thing that has been given to you over Father's Day that you remember from Samantha or your son that is just like, hey, this is one thing that I still remember?
Would you believe I actually still have all the Father's Day cards?
Really?
They have given me? Yep.
That's amazing. I don't save anything like that. That is amazing. But both of my kids this year actually went out and got me a gift on their own without Mom or Dad's money. They both use their own money. So I was actually pretty proud of that one. But my most memorable is the handmade cards.
Yeah.
That they gave me when they were little.
Those are the best.
Those just, I want to find them. I know I still have those, but I will tell you, I don't keep all the cards. So you're a much better father than I am.
Well, there aren't that many. So it's not like I got a big stack of them.
Right.
So
that's funny. That's funny. Well, did you do anything special on Sunday?
So usually the in-laws, they do a Sunday brunch breakfast kind of thing. So we all went out for that. later in the day, after I got some things done and caught up, I wasn't gonna go play golf because it's just too hot. I think the heat index was like 106 or something, but I did make it to the driving range, so
Oh, there you go.
at least did that.
I was in, I worked on my brother's lake house down in Craig, Missouri, but Anna was there. And then we were in softball tournaments on Saturday and Sunday evening because they got rained out and postponed. So little mixture of things, but we had a lot of fun. I would love to hear from any of our viewers, something that, you remember from a Father's Day gift or something you did for your father during Father's Day. Either one, drop a comment. Let us know what's out there. I would love to hear it. What is ranks higher of a holiday celebrated list?
Mr. Huff, we're going to be calling you, by the way, later today. We just might have to have you on as a guest next week, so be prepared for that call. But today's guest, though, I'm super happy and excited to be able to introduce to everyone, to have her back on the show. We actually have a guest that actually wanted to come back on the show, which is rare for us. So this is exciting. She is a returning guest of ours, a realtor and top producer with eXp Realty. After spending 25 years delivering babies, which is why I call her the doctor of real estate, please welcome to the show, everyone, Miss Diane Hibbs.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good, Diane. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. I want to go back to those handmade cards for one moment. I have a really good friend who has twins who are in their 30s now. She has always made them make handmade Mother's Day cards for her. They still do it today.
Oh, wow.
It is amazing. And they're not like just little drawings. They are full page written out. Thanks, Mom. Like a whole letter. It's amazing.
That's awesome. I love the handmade stuff. There's more to it than somebody buying a card. So thank you for sharing that. Guys, as we're going through this, any of our viewers, please drop comments, ask questions. I'm really excited today about this show. Like Joe said, Diane does a great job. And we're going to talk about a couple of case studies that she had. So Diane, tell us about this couple and what were they trying to do in, the first one that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. Okay. So just at a listing appointment, this is the first time I had met this couple. They're in their 60s. They had a plan already to move to Nevada for their retirement. They'd picked out a town. They didn't have a house picked out yet, but they'd been there and they were moving closer to a grown child. And so they had this plan, but I could tell they were just stuck in trying to figure out the timeline of things. Mm-hmm. They had a house that they had built about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, that they had built specifically for their dogs. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, it has a dog room that they built with a dog shower. And I mean, it's cool, but they are an older couple and they have these 3 big dogs. And she's like, I have no idea how we're even going to have this house on the market because we can't even get one of these dogs in the car and we can't leave them here because they'll be barking the whole time. And she was just, at a loss for how we're going to do this. And so, so I brought up this buy before you sell concept that we've used before. I've done this with Joe before. And I have to tell you, as soon as I explained this concept of you can go ahead and buy your house and then we'll sell your house after it's empty, after you've moved with the dogs, and there won't be any of that, any of that challenge. And just the relief, she was like, I had no idea there was anything like that. I had just assumed I had to sell my house first. It was just palpable, just the relief that she had knowing that there was something else, another way. And so, then she reached out to Joe and got the ball rolling on that. And they are closing on their buy side in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
Yep.
so that's
Super
super
cool.
exciting. And then we'll put their house on the market at the end of July.
So,
So
Joe, I have a question for you on that one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
when it comes to this client,
Mhm.
when you first talked to them, Diane, I love the way that you described that, because this product is awesome when it comes to unique situations. And when I have big dogs. I have a Great Dane and I have a Golden Retriever, and the Great Dane scares people.
Yeah.
So having that mindset and having that product at hand was great. So, Joe, when you were talking with the client, what was kind of that first thing that you discussed with them? Because I would love to know that, because I don't think our viewers that are loan originators how to start that conversation after an agent kind of poses it to them.
And thankfully, being that Diane and I have used this before in helping other clients, Diane knew a bit about it, and kind of the surface level as far as how things work. So she was able to introduce them to the concept and ideas, the basics of it. So by the time I got on the phone, they had questions at that point. How does this work and everything? So. And I realize we've been talking about this very briefly in the whole scenario of this couple, but for the listeners that are the viewers and that are listening in, what we're talking about essentially is what's called a buy before you sell. It's kind of a Texas version of a bridge loan is essentially what this is. Okay. So what we're essentially doing is taking the equity out of your current home and using that for the down payment closing cost on your new home. That's the theory of this. And the beauty of it is really twofold. One, taking the equity out. Two, it makes it to where in qualifying for that new mortgage, your current mortgage, now you still have to pay on it, but it is excluded from your debt to income ratio. Okay. And being able to qualify for that next mortgage. That way it's not being viewed as, both mortgages are hitting your debt to income ratio, just the new one, right? There's not enough time to go into the logistics as to why with all of that, but those are the two keys to this, because then it makes it to where the new home, you're not having to put an offer in that's contingent on the sale of your current home. Okay. So I apologize. I said two, there's really three huge benefits there, right?
Yeah.
And those are the things that Diane helps them to start to see. And then I go into and discuss more of the logistics of things and how it actually works, right? So that they know what's going on, right? I know, like we had said before the show, that in regards to the cost of this, right? Now I'm not going to, on the show, we've got so much to cover today. I'm not going to get into everything, right? But there is a cost to it. Obviously, nothing's free, right? A loan is not free. There's either going to be, an interest on the loan, or there's going to be a flat fee. This has a flat fee, right? Which I think is a lot easier and more palatable for things. And for those that want to learn more about this, you're more than welcome to call either of the Joes here today. You can reach out to us and we can go into it, in more detail. But and one thing I will say on this, and I know we discussed before, is that this is a great product, but it doesn't fit every situation, right? The two scenarios, the two different families that Diane is bringing to us today, it fit. It clearly fit, and it was a great fit for them. Right. So, Diane, with all of that said, I apologize. I kind of ran with it there a bit.
That's okay.
But
I told Diane I wasn't going to go off script for her. I wasn't going to for you.
Joe doesn't make promises like that.
So ultimately, with this, what did their whole move, from start to finish, what did this look like for that couple moving to Nevada?
Well, they haven't done it yet, but they were able to go to Nevada and actually get under contract on the house that they wanted.
Mhm.
And and, you know, cause they need the money from their sale in order to buy this house for retirement.
Mhm.
But this just allowed them to do it reverse.
Yes.
So Diane, you mentioned in there that they designed this house for their dogs.
Yeah.
Very unique.
I would love to know a little bit more about that, because I think that'll also help people understand why this product is good for them, because if you design it that way. So can you go into a little bit more there from a listing agent perspective, what you were seeing and
Yeah.
the complications it might have caused?
So just the fact that, I mean, one of my rules basically is you've got to take every evidence of your pets with you for showings. And that just wasn't going to be very feasible for them because they couldn't even get one of them into the car. And I mean, it's old. That dog is old, and it doesn't travel well. But you know, just the fact that it's really a cool house. It's not going to sound cool when I tell you this, but like in the doorway between the hall and the kitchen, they put up an iron gate like you would have outside. And
Okay.
so instead of a door there, it's an iron gate so the dogs can see through. But you know, it's not a dog gate, it's a door.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it's
So-
just unique. There's a lot of uniqueness to the house that we may need to neutralize a little bit to make it easier to sell.
Well, and I think what you said there is you got to take that personal effect or your dogs or your pets effect out, because it's not going to attract everybody that's looking for a house, because not everybody has the same unique
Right.
things that you want.
Right.
And so like that's why I think that reasoning makes it a lot easier for you as a listing agent to
Mhm.
talk about this product.
Right.
And then the big picture of it is now they're out of the house if you're going to sell, and kind of talk about that. How long do they have to get the house listed, get it sold for this product that you're talking about, and how are you kind of handling that for your client?
Mhm. So they are going to be ready to list as soon as they close on well, maybe 3 weeks later. But they've been working on it the whole time. So they know the timeline. And the ideal situation is that you're going to move fairly quickly after you close on that buy side so that you can get the sell side under, or, get it listed. You have, and Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe 4 months from the time you close on the buy side is how long you have to sell.
Sell the home.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there are extensions that you can do for another price.
Exactly. And they the cool thing is that 4 month doesn't start until you actually close on the buy side. So even
Right.
though we do this all, about a month before you close on the buy side, it doesn't start back when you sign the documents. It starts when you close on the buy side. And then you've got 3 weeks from that point, once you close on the buy side, to get the house listed, which is nice because that gives you time to move out, get it cleaned, prepped, maybe even staged, what have you, before actually putting it on the market and start doing open houses.
Right.
So really cool. Yeah.
Well, I think, Diane, what does this do for your clients when it comes to them moving? I mean, you said they're retired, right?
Mhm.
And they're moving states, they're moving all the way to Nevada. That's
Right.
that's a different type of move than, okay, I'm moving, 3 blocks away to a bigger home or to a smaller home.
Right.
So what does this do for them? And how has that conversation been with you and them, about that move part? I guess let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
And it did not make sense to me after I said it.
That's
So
okay.
you kind of walk me through your conversations with them about how this program is going to relieve their stress to be able to move and take more time to get out of the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was really from the very beginning. That was kind of talking about, here's here's one option for a timeline. And this is kind of the traditional option where you list the home and go under contract and sell it and then go and get under contract on a new house. And the difference is, I just showed two different timelines, basically. This is the traditional timeline and this is the way that this works. And so in this case, they've been working to get the house ready to list, but really none of that has been in the forefront because they've been concentrating on the buy side. And then, so as soon as they close on that house, then they have movers lined up already. So, I mean, I think it kind of just switches the steps, if that makes sense.
Well, and Diane, you have a second story that
Yeah.
makes a different argument really for program entirely. Tell us about that.
So this was a couple that was moving here in Kingwood. They were moving from one Kingwood home to another Kingwood home. So more in that,
Local.
3 miles away instead of across states. And their whole reason and I think Joe was the one, maybe, I don't remember if I told them or if you told them, I don't remember, but their whole reason for even thinking about a bridge loan was because the house that they weren't even ready to buy a house yet, but the house that they wanted popped up. And so they were like, they called me and said, we need to see this house today. We need somebody that can get us approved and we want to put an offer on it tomorrow, and there was an open house and there was, we were expecting multiple offers. So the fact that they could come in with a cash offer, we were able to win in multiple offers because this was not contingent. If it had been contingent on the sale of their house, they'd never have gotten it. So that's, but then let me tell you what happened. So
this was fun.
So we were set to close. Joe and I are sitting at the closing table with the client, and there's a snafu with the survey, and nobody, I mean, like the escrow agent is like, this has never happened, and so it was something that nobody could have seen coming. And it ended up, we thought it was just maybe going to delay closing for a few days. It ended up delaying for 6 weeks. And it, so in the process, we've gotten their house on the market. It had multiple offers on the first weekend. So we're under contract with their house really quickly. Luckily, this whole 6-week delay turned out we closed 2 days apart instead of the 6 weeks that we were planning. So they had 3 little kids, and if you can imagine being homeless with 3 kids for 6 weeks, or having to go stay with your parents or sleep on friends' couches, or I don't know. I mean, it would have been a disaster.
Thankfully, they didn't have to because they did this buy before you sell, right? So they were able to stay in their current home, right?
Yes.
While everything unfolded and had to go through the 6 weeks of everything.
And this is a client you guys worked on together.
Yes.
So Joe, we're going to have to talk about that issue because I want to try to foresee that ever happening again because I don't remember that one, but we'll do that. It was
bizarre. Yeah, that's
it sounds bizarre on that one. Again, this product, like we talked about, there's the flat fee on it, and sometimes that fee is worth the timing, the stress levels. You have 2 scenarios here that are completely different. One is a retired couple moving out of state. You have another one that's got young kids and a family. And I love that this product can help them make it enjoyable to buy another home while they're selling, because it is a big, Diane, are you still there? Well, I'm going to keep going with what I'm saying because I thought my internet messed it up.
Diane, if you're still there, we can't see you, dear.
Right. But this product is nice because it lowers the stress
That's
of you're
right.
trying to get your house listed. And that's what she said earlier. I don't know if the viewers caught that with the people moving out of state. They were so involved in buying the new house that they didn't have to worry about the stress of getting the house ready to sell it right now. Now they can do little things, but that's what I think people overlook this product because they think only about the fee. And we talked about that a little bit more. At the end of it, that fee is very minor compared to the stress levels that you put on yourselves, the timing, trying to get everything worked up. And in this case, you have a snafu that nobody could foresee. Now that family didn't have to move out of their house, but were already prepared to get it listed and get it sold, which was awesome too. So I'm hoping Diane can come back on here, Joe, but if you can elaborate on that a little bit more.
It was a unique situation that, they weren't even thinking about buying a new home. They had seen this home for sale. I can't remember. They were driving home from church or something, and saw the open house. And so they thought they'd just stop in. Right. And in doing so, they just fell in love with the house. Diane can talk a little bit more on this, but
I'm trying to get her back up there. I think we're doing it at the same time.
Go ahead.
All right.
See if you can get her in.
It shows that she's in, but there she is.
Okay.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can.
We can hear you.
Yep.
Sorry that you can't hear us.
Technical difficulties, but
hold on. Let me see. Can you hear us now? No.
Evidently not.
All right. We're gonna let her figure that piece out. But
so essentially, yeah. So what? And it made it to where, being that they weren't planning on moving, or buying a new home, and all of a sudden, in one day or 1 hour, they figured out that this is what we want to do. But how do you put the game plan together for all of that when they're thinking about buying this house and putting the one they have on market? And how do we, that's a lot of logistics trying to figure out. And this buy before you sell is really what, was the bridge in making it happen.
I don't know why.
Can you hear us now, Diane? That's okay.
We can hear you.
I'm trying to see if there's.
I wish I knew sign language, but I don't.
I was trying to see if we could do anything on our end to help her with these settings, but I can't. So,
okay.
The unique situation is awesome, and this is a great success for your clients and for yours and Diane's relationship, because that communication between you and Diane, if she didn't trust you the way that you guys have that relationship, a 6-week delay can kill any relationship and kill reputation, how you handle things. So I love that success did not affect your clients. It didn't affect you and Diane's relationship from that standpoint. I know it caused probably some inconveniences and frustrations.
Yes.
But
stress
at
on
the end of it,
definitely stress on the client, right? Yeah. It was. And Diane and I felt so bad for them in going, having to go through this. And, most people probably would have hung it up and said, well, it's not meant to be, and just, move on to the next home, so to speak. But they hung in there, and now today, as a matter of fact, I talked to the wife a couple of weeks ago, and she's, everybody's moved in, settled in, everything's good. But it was quite a different situation. And, this, again, as we said, this product, this buy before you sell, it's not a fit for everyone, but when it fits, boy, it's just, it really resolves a lot of issues for people, especially not having to put an offer in that's contingent, and being able to take the equity out of your home, to be able to use in down payment closing costs on the new one. So there's definitely a lot of benefits to it. And I know we're kind of running out of time.
So I think we need to share one thing on this. this product is only available when you're buying with conventional financing.
It's a good point.
I just want to make sure, not all agents know that. I know, Diane, you do. But when you're a listing agent, Diane, and you see a buy before you sell come over, what goes through, because they have to show that it's not contingent. They don't always put out there that you're getting a bridge loan, but that is a conversation I have with my listing agents when I call and we're making that offer. But as a listing agent, how do you, think of that? And what went through your mind the first time you heard about this product? Because, now that you know the product, it's easier. But when you heard that for the first time, what was going through your head?
Well, honestly, I was a little uncomfortable with saying that it wasn't contingent because I felt like it was. But it's truly two separate transactions. And honestly, I don't think the listing agent knows. I mean, it's not part of the offer. It's
Right.
not. So they don't know. All they know is it's a big chunk of cash, either a cash offer or a big chunk of cash for the down payment,
Yeah.
just like if they had already sold their house.
No, I love that because it is not part of the offer that you're going in there. But I know that agents always talk to each other, and I love that because if I get an offer and I'm looking over a contract, then I'm probably asking questions. Well, do they own another house? What are they doing with that? Are they pre-approved based on both payments? Because that's when that would come up. So that's why I wanted to ask the question, because not everybody knows that it's not part of your offer, but it might come up part of conversation. So knowing a little bit about it and knowing the information helps you. And I agree with you. It makes it feel like it's contingent. But the nice thing about that program, and hopefully you don't ever have to get to that, right? It is a cash offer that after 4 months, and I don't know if you've ever had to deal with any of them going past that. Maybe that's a question. What is the typical home staying on the market today when you list it? Let's go that route so people know that.
And what street are you talking about?
Exactly.
In general.
I mean, in Kingwood, 45 days is about average right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So still plenty of time to get that thing sold for that 120-day mark without it having to be moved to the next step, which is technically you either extend it for more things. You mentioned that earlier. Mm-hmm. What is the other option that comes into play? Let's say that we get down to the end, that cash option's there. And I just want to go with that. Can you just go with that cash option? Honestly, I don't know the answer to that one, so I didn't know if you did.
In regards to the cash offer,
the cash offer, right? Because we're saying it's not contingent. It's not. You still have time to sell your house. Yes. But I think people get scared about, well, what happens at that 4-month mark? Okay. And so just talking about that for just a brief second. I know we're over time, but I think it's important for people to understand there are options at that 4 months mark, because we did mention that.
There are, and that's and Grant, the realtor that you have listing the home, they still are the listing agent for it. It continues on after the 4 months. However, because this is kind of getting into the logistics of how it all works.
True.
And
we don't have to go that angle, but it was just a question more than anything.
But essentially, when the easiest way. So the way, let's say it's a $500,000 home, right? And they have $150,000 left on the mortgage of it. And let's say they take $200,000 out of the equity as part of the buy before you sell. So now there's with that 200,000 and the 150, now you're at 350, right? So really the kind of cash offer, so to speak, that is being made is the 350. However, once the home is actually sold, so let's say it is sold for 500,000, afterwards that extra 150 of equity, the homeowners that just sold it, the clients, they get that 150 minus realtor fees and blah blah, all that other stuff, right? So you still get the rest of the equity in the home of whatever it ends up selling for. Now, if it sells for 475, then they're getting 125 back at the end. Does that help answer your question?
Yes. And I love how you just pointed out, you know, if you don't take out all the equity, because they don't let you take out all of it, right?
No.
They up to 75% most of the time. 70%.
Yep.
You know, what happens to that difference? And people don't always understand. I know, Diane, you do. You get that. When the house sells, you get all of the difference that comes to you minus the fees and things like that come through it. But you still get all that money. So, you know, it doesn't mean that you have to take everything out. And there's not an appraisal that's truly done on it. They go off of the price and then they just do an automated evaluation to make sure. So, well, Diane, any last things that you want to share with the viewers about it? I know we had some technical issues. Don't worry about that. I have them all the time. And actually, I was freezing up a little bit when we were going through it. So that makes for great fun because it sees how is Joe and I going to handle this. So, but any last things that you want to share? And then, Joe, do we have her email address that we can put on the banner in here? Perfect.
Awesome.
Is that okay, Diane? That one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So my last word would just be for the agents to think about this, when they're sitting down with in the listing appointment, because that's when you're going to hear it is, I think, I guess we've had it both ways. So I had it with a buyer and then I've had it with the lister. So, I feel like it's just, you have to have it in your
toolbox.
Thank you. The word. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, Diane, today, sharing this, because not everybody knows about these products. And just like any product that's out there, it's a tool for us to be able to use when it's right for you.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it.
Well, yes. And thank you, Diane, for coming on. As Joe said, we appreciate all the insights you're able to give our listeners out there, the two different client scenarios, because I think a lot of people are in this boat today because they bought back during COVID or before. And so now they've got a lot of equity in their home, right, to be able to tap into. And this product does a great job of doing that, making it to where their offer goes in, not contingent, on the sale of their current home. So if any of you out there, whether you're a realtor or a buying or listing, your home, and you want answers to your questions on some of this, learn more about it, feel free to reach out to Diane.
Yeah.
I know you can get in touch with her with her email address down there below at the bottom, so that you can chat with her further on this and the best way of, possibly this being a fit for you. Because as we said, it's not always a fit for everyone. But next week, folks, tune in next week at our usual time, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Even better still, go to our YouTube channel at the Mojo Show Real Estate Podcast. While you're there, hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss a single episode. And you can even catch up on some of the past episodes there. And plus as well, of course, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and every like, share, and comment helps us reach more homeowners like yourself. Joe, before we close things out, what do you think as far as today, our listeners, the biggest takeaway they can take from today's show?
Know the options that are available for you when you're trying to buy a house, when you have one to get rid of, and deal with a partnership like Diane and Joe are, because that partnership, they are going to lead you in the right direction. So great job to both of you as being partners together and helping your clients together.
We are a great team, kind of like Joe and I. Well, I'm Joe Mortgage, and that handsome guy with the beard is Cup of Joe Mortgage, and we'll see you next.